Yes, I know. Just doing my job. Welcome, everyone, to this final board meeting of the year. The most interesting year I think we've had on record. Let's hope 2021 is not as community suppressing. So, approval of the agenda. Be it resolved, the Duntroon Hall Board hereby approves the agenda dated December 15th, 2020 as presented. All in favor? One, we got Dave, we got Jim. Perfect.
Oh, I think we should do this.
At this point, do disclosure of pecuniary interest and nature thereof. If anyone has any particular direct connection to anything that will be discussed at this meeting involving the hall, please state it now so we are aware. Nothing. Good. Approval of the minutes dated November 17th, 2020. Any questions or concerns related to the minutes?
No.
No, it was all pretty straightforward. Yeah. Excellent. So be it resolved, the Duntroon Hall Board hereby approves the minutes dated November 17th, 2020 as presented. Supporting members for that?
I will. Mary.
Yeah, right. Perfect. All right. Business arising from the minutes. Flooring quotes. So I've put it to Quanberry, and I'm going to look at another one, somebody in Collingwood, just to basically using the Dean's Rugland basically specs and just see what they come back with. All the specifics from that. Rental contract. Oh, here we go again. I did not review that. I forgot that. Actually, did you send that to me again, Kayla?
Yes, of course. This is going to become the Santa Claus sleigh of the Duntroon Hall.
Well, it's not like we're renting right now anyway, so that could all very change in the near future. So okay, I'm going to extract that one very largely. Sink replacement. So I had a meeting in discussion with Joseph, and we looked at the space, and he's going to contact David, when he has the sink at the hall. So it's actually 6 foot, which fits quite nicely. You don't have to take out the coffee maker section. And the drip pad is on the left side, so that's actually better as well. So, and it looks like the terrazzo actually continues under the floor. But once again, once the sink arrives, then Dave, I'll get you down there and we can have a look and just sort of finalize and complete whether that's something will that come before the new year or not? I'm not sure. I'll check in with him. He's just, I got the sense that it would, but he hasn't reached out to me yet. But I will be talking to him before the end of the week to find out for sure.
So,
but once again, I don't think there's a massive rush on the actual installation of it. We just getting the sink there and then make the sort of final assessment on it.
Yeah, it's something I could do between Christmas and New Year's if it arrives. So
okay, good to know.
Yeah, and Gord, I take it that the countertop that's there would be chopped off?
Yeah, so basically running aligned with the stoves, it would be cut, right? And then, so where the coffee makers are, that zone would remain because it doesn't need that amount of space.
So that probably has a miter in that corner, doesn't it?
Does it? No, I think it goes.
I think it would, and that's where I was just wondering. It's nearly like that countertop should come off, and I don't know if they can edge it or somebody needs to edge it or else if
Yeah.
you just cut it off, it's.
Well, even if you just, like if it's only a 30-inch piece, you can pick up a 30-inch piece pretty cheap and just run it the other way so that the nosing comes down over the front by the new sink.
Yeah, just put a new countertop.
It would
right in.
just run north-south.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Like it's only like a 36-inch piece. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I could get a piece of that pretty cheap at just countertops.
Right.
Right, like a leftover or something.
Yeah. Good idea.
Perfect. Renovations update, Jim. You wanna?
Yeah, I think where we're left off, everybody, I don't know if anybody read the email I sent, but kind of
Yeah.
summarize things. So I haven't touched it since, but it was on my list for last weekend, which didn't help. So hopefully try and get that together and dimensioned. Is everybody okay with the non-gender specific idea? Like we'll just label them washroom 1, washroom 2, and things like that.
So
So I
in
think
that case, I guess no urinal. You wouldn't put a urinal, obviously, in a, or would you?
Yeah,
You
sure.
put
Oh, I took it as that. I took it as that gender neutral meant you were going to do that in the front entrance one. Up there, they kind of have to be men and women if you're going to have both parties coming and going with more than one.
Yeah. I think it's just a label at this point, and even one of the people, I believe, Kayla might remember, just suggested we could use colors or whatever to distinguish. I believe the public will tend toward having gender, going back to their old pattern.
Yeah.
But I thought too,
But-
as David said, that I thought it was just the new one that was supposed to be gender neutral. So it's all of them.
Well, it's these, they just, one person in particular thought it was a good idea. The front one, the one at the front would be gender neutral because it'll just be one accessible washroom,
Right.
universal washroom.
Right.
So,
Yes.
but these ones, they just thought in this day and age not to be specific necessarily about it. So I think it's just in how it's labeled.
Yeah.
That's, it's, yeah. Kayla, help me.
I think given the location of the bathrooms that are in question and the nature of the events that are hosted at the facility, it's probably in the best interest to keep them split. And I only say that because they're kind of out with the way, and for safety and security, I'm not saying that there's a bunch of people running around Duntroon looking to grab and feel people, but just given the general nature of what the facility hosts and where those washrooms are located, David brings up a great point too. If you guys were looking to put a gender neutral, like one bathroom at the front, that's probably a much better option and much more wheelchair accessible washroom as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I agree.
to me, I think this may
So
honestly is a paper, it's a paper solution. We just label them washroom A and washroom B on paper.
Yeah.
in
With
terms
pictures
of-
that suggest otherwise.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then move forward.
Okay.
And then the other stuff is small details about signage and things like that, which we can deal with later. So that what the next step is me trying to put a bit of time onto it in order to send it off to Scott McLeod, Kayla, or no, yeah, and try and get the process going with engineers and blah, blah, like all the necessary township approvals, they'll work it through. So, as one thing on the plan, you'll notice some earlier renditions were trying to save a wall, and it's just not worth it. I think there was one wall that you know, where it was squeezing the stairs too much and stuff. So I can bring it up on screen if you want here, but
If you're repairing drywall, one more wall really makes no difference.
yeah,
It's $20 worth of drywall on a slab of mud. It's pretty simple when you're already at it. So
yeah, and the new flooring and stuff. So anyway, so it went back to actually pretty much what was designed a few years ago. I probably should go in there and take some measurements, because a lot of this is based on little bits and pieces that were gathered over the years in terms of drawings, just to see if it actually works. But what is the deal with access protocol for somebody? Like, can I go in it whenever, or do I have to go in a bubble suit?
Just because you're basically just upstairs, you're fine to go whenever.
Okay,
Except the only use we have for, I think, Monica can verify, is the church group will be using it in a couple weeks. But other than that, there's nothing other than Joseph's downstairs. So
yeah,
you don't think you really need to access there anyways.
yeah. So anyway, that's where we're at. So just to try and get that together and into the township's hands, and let Scott McLeod hopefully steer it through consultants that the township has to make it move forward.
Yeah. Great. Any
Kayla,
questions?
or sorry, Kayla, there was another meeting with the accessibility committee, and was
Yeah, we met yesterday.
anything-
We met yesterday and
Oh.
reviewed it again, but the other members who weren't present at the original one really liked the idea. They didn't see a problem with it. They were just happy to see you guys move forward, and would just like to stay in the loop when it comes to color contrast and the fine details that come with some of the accessibility as it relates to renovations.
Okay. Sorry if I was supposed to be on that meeting and forgot.
Nope, no
that
worries.
was good. Because I should have mentioned that when we did have the meeting with the accessibility committee, they didn't have quorum. So that's why it wasn't official. So now, is it officially approved?
Yeah, I mean, as much as they can, they're
As much as
happy
needed.
with it. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's good. Thank you.
Perfect. Any other comments related to that renovation?
No, looks good.
Now, I'm just wondering, is this something, because we are, I mean, as we get to further discussions with obviously the furnace, actually that's not, oh yeah, that'll be facility. Financially, for the renovations, I guess, can we be reaching out to the township with regards to that, because we are addressing accessibility issues? Is that something we should be considering?
I'm
I
assuming.
would say no. What's that?
Sorry, go ahead, David. I just assumed it was a question for me, but you go ahead.
A little bit of both.
I was just going to say, I would assume that if it's accessibility, that we save our asking until we're doing the big project, and
Okay.
we just look after this one on our own.
That is pretty much what I implied to the accessibility committee. It's just that we were just doing this work and not asking. They did suggest that they do have some funds to help with some elements, so we can come back, and so there's a fund there that's accessible for smaller stuff maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I guess once we look at our budget and stuff like that, then we'll have a better sense if we do have strong needs directly to this project.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, we're good for that. So on to financial reports. Mary?
Snow removal.
Oh yeah, sorry, snow removal. Okay, yeah, I had discussions, and after our last meeting, it seemed like a little overkill, or it was going to be a little too difficult or too much of an issue to clear a path to that back door. So with discussions with Joseph, we've just kept it that if he really needs to get there, he'll just bring his own little blower up, but otherwise he's just going to go through the main door. We'll get him his own key. And because there is not a lot of other use for the hall going on, that just seemed to make a lot more sense. And yeah, it just what seemed unnecessary for the amount of work that would have to go into it and the damage it could potentially cause. And yeah, I did see that the sump outtake is, yeah, that whole area will just either become extremely icy or get damaged when it softens up, when the frost goes out. So nothing to do there. Mary?
Okay. Not a big change month to month in our bank account. We have $26,021. No further payment from Joseph since he paid 2,000 October 16th and nothing since. Unless,
Okay. Oh,
It
sorry.
came through today, Mary.
pardon?
It came through today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he told me he deposited on, I thought it was Friday last week. So that's why I was going to check in with you. Okay.
So Kelly sent that to you, Monica?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have told you, but I assumed you got it too.
No, she didn't include me again.
Okay, I'll forward it just to you, just so you have it.
Yeah, I have been getting them, but I didn't get that one.
And that was another 2,000, I think, right, Monica?
Yeah, 2,000.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention the hydro bill. The last bill I paid was the period October 17th to November 17th. I don't know if you can see on here, but it says our usage increased to 173% over last year. Now, I think last year, if I recall, winter started early. I guess I shouldn't keep moving this around. Winter started early, then we would have been paying a lot to heat the hall, right? So I'm just curious of why it's such a big increase based on.
It's because the geothermal's not working. It's electric banks that are doing all the work right now. We're back to the same as we were 5 years ago with running on electric furnace. So that's where
Okay.
we're trying to figure out which direction we're going.
Okay, well, as long as there's
And
an answer, that's okay.
Yeah, and I think combined too, that the kitchen is being used, right? Like the stoves are obviously electric, so.
Yeah, I don't know how much he's been actually using that stuff there, but I think this is where we were last year at this time when we thought it was maybe the freezer or whatever, and it's because of the electric banks.
Yeah, that was February, March that we.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
that
we had the big increase in February, March, might have even been January that we had the bigger increase, and then that's when we figured out what was going on was the furnace. So we haven't had an increase yet through the October, November till we do this year. So
Yeah.
you're going to see the same 170%. So that's just telling us that the geothermal is actually doing its job.
Right. Okay. All right. I just,
Yeah,
I just asked the questions.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
Okay, that's it for me.
Perfect.
Mary, just a quick thing. We got a PepsiCo bill or something. Do you want me to just drop it off at your place? Or how? I haven't opened it or anything.
Well, why don't you open it? And because sometimes they just send a letter saying not much. Why don't you open it and have a look?
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause there shouldn't
And
be a bill for anything. I haven't ordered anything.
Yeah.
Okay, it may just be some update about,
End of year statement or something.
or-
Yeah, sometimes they just send something if there's a pricing difference or increase or whatever. So open it and have a look before you worry about bringing it.
Yeah,
Okay.
the one thing is the address on it was kind of botched. It wasn't really our address. It was some, I'm not sure if that's anybody updated. Because the hall has a box, right?
Yeah, we've
Now-
updated with Pepsi and I continually have problems with them.
Okay. Yeah, so it ended up here, somebody hand wrote, our address with a question mark.
Yeah, I think, Monica, you've tried several times with Pepsi to get the address corrected, right?
Yeah, and every time I call to order stuff, I go through a whole rigmarole with them about who we are, and it's the same thing every time. And I talk to the same people every time, so I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, that's it for me. So, yeah, open that up and have a look, Suzanne. Anything you get like that, open it up.
Yeah, it just came.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mary. Bookings update, Monica. So yeah, go ahead.
Ian's got 3 dates in January booked. He had to cut his classes in half because we're going into the red zone. And the church group's meeting every Sunday, pretty much. They're not meeting the next 2 Sundays, but she pretty much emails me every week and say, we're in this Sunday, we're not in this Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Ian might be okay. Like we're on 28-day red zone, so by the time he comes around, he might be able to change that. But yeah, he's got a forecast.
You're optimistic that 28 days is all we're going to be?
Well,
Yeah.
Well, I think he's already done it and split up his classes and told his students, so. it's
Okay.
up to him.
yeah. Okay, that's good. Perfect. Steady as she goes. All right. Events update. Not a facility review. So sort of a big one, I guess. We did get half funding up to $10,000 for the furnace approved in the budget by the townships. So
Yeah.
I guess at this point, it's just making a decision on who we're going to go with, what we're going to go with, and when we're going to go with it.
So I had Steve Cook go in and have a look at it. He gave me a price. His price is a little less than Zeke's, but he's also only pricing a 5-ton furnace and not a 6-ton. His comment is that the ductwork coming off the top of the furnace is not that big, and he's wondering if we're getting too much head temperature that's screwing the compressor below. I asked Scott to stop in and have a look and see if there was any way we could enlarge that ductwork in any way. I know we have the fire dampers stops that are in there that do restrict it even further. So as far as I know, he hasn't made it in yet, and to see what we can do. I'm assuming a 5-ton furnace is somewhat cheaper than a 6-ton, so that could be the difference in the 2 quotes. Which one we're going to get back to service any faster, one or the other, I'm not sure. I'm not comparing apples to apples, basically, so I'm just trying to find out what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
The comment about a 5-ton furnace was that it would run that much longer. And the problem with the geothermal running that much longer is it has a tendency to freeze the ground up faster. However, because we essentially have 12-ton worth of loop, they don't think that's an issue. So we would, the furnace would, the furnace run might for 45 minutes instead of half an hour type thing, but it's not going to affect our ground loop. So I don't know. I've got two different opinions coming at me, and so I was asking Scott for an expert opinion in the middle. So
Yeah.
So
Okay.
anyways, this one is 15,750, and
Zeke's was like 17 something.
yeah, I'm just got to double check here for a quick second to see. Yeah, they are both plus HST. That's what I want to know. So yeah, 117,561, and the other one is 15,750. So there's $2,000 difference. You know, there could be $1,000 difference in the price between a 5-ton and a 6-ton. I don't know. So that's what I was trying to figure that out. I personally see a new geothermal being the way to go. Gets us a 10-year warranty and you know, upgraded from where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
If the township's willing to fund up to 10,000, well, I'm looking at
Well-
Zeke's quote at 17.5 with taxes. I'm at 19.8. So, you know, that just takes $10,000 out of our renovation budget. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they're half up to 10,000, but because 19,000, then basically we're pretty much getting the whole 10,000.
It may
right.
be interesting to know.
Right. Now,
whether
if you go to
it's factored in
Sorry,
for
go
that.
again.
Well, just whether the that 10,000, whether up to 10,000 is pre or post HST,
HST.
Yeah.
because they get it back, I think, right? So just
Well, hopefully it's
that
hopefully
may
it's
give a
post,
little
and then
bit.
when we get it back, we're all good.
Mhm.
So
Kayla,
yeah, I'm
can
still
you,
trying.
Kayla, can you check that? Just basically HST and how it applies to
Yep,
funding.
sure
Excellent.
can.
Yep. Yeah, I think I'm of the mindset that we, you know, so we just don't have to go down this road, as you say, for 10 years or plus, putting in the most suitable
Yeah.
system.
Now, the other side of the coin I look at is to change the A coil and the compressor is $6,200. So in this year, when we're trying to do the renovation, you look at the township's going to cover us for $3,000 of that, and we cover $3,000. It leaves a lot more in our pot for doing the renovation. Give us a chance to build more up. And who's to say that this furnace doesn't last us for another 6-7 years? I don't know.
Yeah.
So that was the other side of the coin I was looking at. That, and I don't know. I haven't even put any pencil to paper to figure out what the renovation upstairs is going to cost. It can't be that bad. You have the flooring price, but for the rest of it, you know, it's just a matter of drywall and moving some stuff around. It's not huge dollars.
David, is there a warranty for the parts then? Like if we go with the parts route?
I think it's a 1 year on the replaced compressor.
Mhm.
And that's what was, so when the furnace went in 2016, when we put it in, they got the compressor changed under warranty at that time, but it only gave us a 1 year warranty then.
Yeah, and I guess a bit of a bigger overall question is, right now, during a pandemic, is the hall costing, like our fund, our bank account dwindling? Or are the rentals covering costs? Like, should we be factoring in a loss for the next year?
Well, I think if you're paying 177% on your hydro, you're going to be burning more money.
Yeah, but just in that case of both, like the two options, like definitely addressing this high hydro cost, but that extra, what are we talking there? $6,000, $7,000 difference for the hall.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
do we need that just to keep afloat for the next year? Is the, you know, like how,
That's where you need to-
what rent are we getting in per month?
Well,
think.
our bank balance, the end of February was $24,000. So we've been hovering at like 26 every month. You know, we're now getting money from pretty consistently from the church people, and you know, some from Ian and Joseph. So we're thankfully going into this, we had a pretty healthy bank balance. It's remained, like I said, the last 2 or 3 months, we've been hovering around $26,000. So,
Yeah, so we're not going downhill.
we
it
do-
seems. Yeah.
no, and we do, fortunately, we're, you know, it's pretty healthy compared to other years.
So,
Yeah.
the usual, what would be a general monthly cost? Just to, you know, I know winter's obviously unique based on and right now because of our furnace, but you know, a ballpark for like our monthly costs to operate.
Well, the only thing I've been paying is hydro bills, really.
And propane, right?
If you were to look at our hydro bill, excuse me, our hydro bills for a year and our propane bills for a year, that's our two main expenses. And we have an idea what we're bringing in from Joseph, the church, and Ian. You know, it shouldn't be too hard of a calculation to figure out what our income is to what our expenses is in a year. We're coming up to a full year here in another 3 months, so we'll know whether we're.
I guess the thing is, David, though, because of the changing cost scenario with the hydro, like, what was the time frame in terms of getting that compressor or that new unit in? Do we know? Like,
No, I didn't. It's not sitting in a warehouse as far as I know, but they're not far out of my understanding. So.
Mhm.
yeah, because that would be just a big factor in terms of monthly costs if we're paying just for the electric.
Yeah, I think by comparison, if we check back, like obviously things started to get inflated last year in January. So if we looked at 2019 to see what our, you know, expenses were, that might be a better reflection of, you know, if we were operating at a normal expenses versus 2020 where it has been inflated if we don't get the furnace change.
I haven't paid a propane bill since April, so I know.
So we're not
I think
using propane at
Ron-
all, are we?
Downstairs should be.
Oh, it's still operating
Yeah,
downstairs?
downstairs all propane.
Oh, okay.
I think
Yeah. Yeah, the propane furnace is working fine on the lower level. It was only the geothermal upstairs that was problem.
but you think I'd have a bill now that winter started, but I think a month or so ago, Ron said he was over and had a look at it, and there was propane there, but I haven't had a propane bill since April. And the only thing for months that I paid is hydro. Monica did submit her bill for the year for cleaning, you know, in advance of year end. And other than that, the only thing I've been paying is hydro.
Yeah, the
Okay,
propane
that's-
was at 80% when I looked at it. And that was right when Ron looked too, so. And there's 3 tanks now instead of 2, so they may not have topped it up yet this year.
Right. Well, a bill will be coming certainly in January, let's say then.
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
Okay, so I guess going forward, if we can get a rough sort of estimation on what our expenses and our income are, and find out what this furnace will finally, like what that recommendation would be, say from Scott, and then we can make a final assessment on whether we go with the smaller fix or the full furnace. And we could just, but I think we should know that hopefully by the next meeting, January, and we can make a decision, go forward with that.
Mhm.
So Ron Janot was listening, and he just chirped in there that he checked it today and it was topped up.
Yeah, so
You'll be getting a propane bill soon.
I'll look at what I could come up for and you want it for last year, right? And what we paid so far this year?
Maybe do a comparative. I was just because I was thinking like 2019 might have been a more baseline for what our expenses would be, because we weren't, everything was running normally at that point.
I'll see what I can do. When I handed all the records into the township for the audit at the end of last year, I usually get all of that information back in March, but I haven't got that yet. I don't have that back. So I'll look and see. Yeah, I don't have that. I don't have that information.
All right. Is who would Kelly?
Emmy. I usually get it from Emmy.
Carlson, yeah.
I mean, is the township office open? I could go in and pick it up.
Yep, we're open.
Oh, okay.
Just not at lunch from 12:30 to 1:30.
Right. Okay. Well, she usually has it. I mean, she probably has it kicking around there somewhere.
You could probably just email her and ask her for it. She'd give you the totals if you wanted.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'll try that. Okay.
Okay, excellent. Just a quick question, Jim. You had just the whole key thing. So the key can't be copied because there's only a couple names that are certified to copy it or something, and that they no longer.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
That are gone and things, but I think asking Terry Vachon or somebody like that about it now.
Okay.
Yeah, like we did at one point, I did succeed in having some keys made just because of Shelley McIntyre knowing,
Trusting you.
you know, and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
we were looking after the hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just they need one
So
for.
I don't even know if she's still in business.
Yeah. They need one for a firebox for the fire department. So I'm just trying to figure out. There's no sense of me taking the key in and trying to get a copy
Well,
then.
No,
Shelley
but I
would
think
make one.
my thought is the township have a key. I'm pretty sure, like the water guys.
Okay.
So that I suggest putting it back on their plate.
Okay.
In that way.
Yeah, the
they've got
young
one,
woman
then
that goes
save you
in
money.
and checks the water and the defibrillator and all that stuff. I mean, I've been there a few times when she's come in. She must have a, no,
Okay.
no, I think she uses a lockbox.
She has locked the box. Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they do have one. I remember providing one to the township.
Okay.
upon their
Yeah,
request.
I'll check that. Yeah, I just wanted to verify that. So if they don't, I'll figure something out.
The other thing we could do is just replace that lock.
Yeah.
If necessary, but of course the idea of it being the way it is, that you don't have somebody making their own keys.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
But I'm sure Shelley would make some if you gave her permission, right, Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
or-
Yeah.
I deal with her through work. She gets all our locks and everything. So
I've dealt with Shelley lots too.
I think
Okay,
the
well, I
last
don't-
time, like I could, if you give her permission, I'm pretty sure, Jim, she can make a couple keys for me, then she would likely do it.
Yeah.
I'm sure she
But
would.
I'll try and track down her email or something and then just copy us. Email her and copy you and Gord and David or something,
Okay.
and see if we can gain there. It's
It,
keys and rekeys, right?
Well, it's changed. She sent me, I'll text it to you. It's all different now.
Okay,
She changed her name and for everything. Oh,
okay.
I would
Okay.
suggest getting, just passing a resolution, and then you guys have it in your minutes and nothing can come back on you that way. But I do
Okay.
know that the township does have keys. The events people have keys for all the buildings and stuff as well. So that would be my suggestion.
Is to just go through the township.
Yeah, pass a resolution, so then that covers your butt if you do end up going to Home Hardware or some key cutter somewhere and say, hey, this is the situation. And then you've got a safety net there, but I can also ask the township about getting additional keys cut as well.
Okay, just because Amanda reached out to me to get it done for the fire department, so that's why she wouldn't have just gone in-house.
No, I guess she wants you guys to pay out of pocket.
Oh, really? For a couple
Oh,
keys.
those keys
We must have
aren't
done
cheap,
really well
though.
last year.
Cutbacks, it's a pandemic.
Okay, I'll get back to her and just confirm that. Perfect. Yeah, so be it resolved that we go forth in getting permission to get some keys cut for, new keys cut for the hall to provide to the township for the fire department's personal lockbox and additional key for Joseph so that he doesn't have to be using the same key during this pandemic that all the other upstairs renters are using. On favor? Does that work,
Could I-
Kayla? Yeah, yeah.
I wondered if we could add a thought that he has a deposit on that key.
Key deposit.
Joseph, yeah, okay, good. Yeah,
$50. What's a key worth?
I think they limit it actually. I'm not sure.
They're expensive,
$25.
50. They're expensive, those keys.
oh, that
Yeah, there
particular
should
type?
be-
Okay,
Yeah,
They're special, right?
There should be.
Yeah.
Should be some incentive to return it.
yeah, for sure.
Key deposit's not uncommon. It's just, I think there is a loophole limit on some of them.
Perfect. Okay. Add to
Suzanne's
that.
wondering if there's a legal limit. Sorry,
If there's a what? A
a
legal,
legal limit to,
oh, the amount.
Yeah, like a maximum amount that you can charge for
Oh,
key deposit. But that may be different for residential versus commercial. Or institutional.
You worry too much.
Kayla, did you add that to the resolution or?
I started to make another one because you have the resolution I put was be it resolved that the Duntroon Hall Board hereby approve additional keys to be cut for the facility.
Yeah.
Actually, additional keys, yeah, be cut for the facility. And then I've started writing the next line, which is the board would like to further investigate key deposits.
Okay. Perfect. Support for that resolution? Got two.
That goes unanimous.
Perfect.
So you're taking.
I'm just with facility. Did anybody notice with that major rain and thaw? Was there any flooding? I was gonna go by and see if everything was flowing, but I know there would be a lot of snow up there, so that might have blocked it up. But anybody notice anything driving by? Particular amounts of water pooling? No. Okay.
Didn't notice, but the ground's not frozen yet either, so it might.
Yeah, it would
be in a
saturate more.
better
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Any other new business? Anybody have anything that they would like to talk about? Expectations for 2021? No, that's pretty quiet. Just trying to get through this here. Perfect. All right. Well, be it that, I think we're pretty good, everyone. Next meeting, January 19th, 2021. I'm going to say have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Just one question. Jim, any idea when you would be getting a permit, just to know when the renovation might be thinking about starting?
No, my objective is to try and get it into Scott before the holidays here. So at that point, it's out of our hands, and it depends what they can do at their end.
Okay.
Yeah. So I in conversation with the accessibility committee, said we are hoping to get going in this in January. But that's about it.
Yeah. Maybe make a note when you hand it in to Scott too, that, obviously given that it's quiet right now at the hall, that the sooner the better we could get to it, just because of the inactivity.
Yeah.
Don't know if that have any effect, but just try.
And one thing I was just wondering there, like, because it is winter, this thing with the heating system, is there a time frame that we're trying to go to, or in terms of getting a decision made? Like, David, you're going to check with Scott, and then maybe, because the next meeting's not until the middle of January.
Yeah, I think if we get some numbers from Mary on what our expenses are, what our income is, to see where we are financially, whether we spend 3,000 or 10,000 will be based on that information.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea just to be safe. Don't want to run out.
Yeah. And Dave, if you don't mind, maybe a ballpark on, if you have some time, a ballpark on what the reno might cost, roughly.
Yep, I'll get something on that.
Just so that we can sort of see what all the numbers going forward are.
So
And
the vanities are there. The toilets are new, or we need to get new toilets? I'm trying to remember.
Toilets are new.
Okay.
We
New urinals.
need urinals.
Okay.
New urinals and valves, I'd say. The doors, what was the women's washroom door? Is it existing location? Like there's no intention to change that. So, and the men's door, for instance, we could just reuse the men's door if it's in decent shape. We could have a look at some of this stuff, right? I guess, see what kind of shape.
Yeah, doors are pretty cheap in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have solid core, something decent, right? So yeah, and it depends how far. Like, I know there was talk of just kind of getting the basic amount done in order to do the flooring. So whether the stairs change or not, things like that. Like, it would be kind of great it's a great opportunity to really go for it,
Yeah.
get it
Yeah.
all done in a way, I think. and
Yeah,
Get
and
that
prep.
all cleaned up.
Yeah. Prep for the
So in
reopen.
that plan, yeah, so the plan as it is does make the dance floor a little larger by the thickness of those existing stairs. So there'd be a bit of flooring there. So I'll try and, if I get back to the drawing here, I'll try and maybe flag some of these things out so that we can have a better
Okay.
idea whether they happen or not at this point, and cost, considering the cost factor too.
I'm trying to remember, where is there access to in underneath that stage? Can we see
It's
through
in
from
through
the
the
mop closet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I believe it's just exposed floor
Right.
joists in there. So
Yeah.
we need to put in some plywood and hardwood flooring or something to extend that. That's kind of a bit of a messy, or just do an apron that's a different material there, which would be fine too, because it's often a place where there's tables set up,
Mhm.
So we could just put a different flooring material there. Yeah, I just opened the drawings again. What was the price for the flooring, roughly?
About 9,000, 89.17, taxes in.
And that was for the bar, the whole upper floor seating, the bathrooms, all of that,
Stairs.
And I
and-
know,
those existing.
I noticed it's also includes removal of the old flooring, which is good.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say
Yeah,
that
it's
we can
over.
even save ourselves some money if we go and do that stuff ourselves.
Yeah. Just do a
Yeah.
crash work session.
Yeah, I thought it seemed like a lot of money, but I just checked the square footage, and it is, we are talking about it's surprising. It's like
big space.
1,000, at least 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Up there. So at, $8-9 a square foot makes sense to me. It would be about right.
And that's taxes in too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think if we can do this and get it, all the stairs changed and stuff would be ideal in my mind. Get it fully updated.
Yeah, I can't remember if that includes the stairs down, like to between sort of the entrance and the upper level.
Oh, the entrance.
That wouldn't be a significant cost anyways, but yeah, I think it would be worthwhile to get it done as well.
You can lay pretty near 800 square feet of floor faster than you can do one set of stairs.
Yeah, stairs are slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
Well, let's get the permit, and then we'll figure out the extent of what we're doing and things like that.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, and I mean, if we do get feedback, whenever you do get feedback, David, if we need to call something sooner than later to get that going, then sure.
So just a thought, like when we did the renovation back in whatever was that, 14, 15, when I don't even remember what year it was. We had cost overruns and we got kind of a loan from the township. Is that something we could consider? We keep some money in our bank account to fund our own expenses and just have a little extra come from them that we pay back, that we get to do the renovation now rather than saving up for later.
Kayla? Maybe that's Kayla's question. That's okay, Kat.
I'm not entirely sure they'll go for that, but the worst thing you could do is ask, and the worst they can say is no.
All right.
Mhm.
That's all I got for you.
Yeah, I mean, they did just allocate us some money, and from what I could tell from the budget meeting, we were the only hall that did get allocated something at that point. But
I'm not saying I want them to give us the money. I'm just saying that
A loan,
would they
yeah.
float a loan for us again like they did last time?
Yeah.
They might
Yeah,
do a
do-
loan. When it
It just-
comes to accessibility, they're still reviewing their AODA and the hall review that was done and complete back in March, and that was kind of put on the back burner, but it is come up in their budget review, so they do have to look at that and take it into consideration. When it does come to your accessibility renovations, like adding that additional bathroom in the front, or maybe bringing some ramps to allow people access to both levels of the hall, you might be able to go through the accessibility advisory committee. You might be able to get a loan. You might be able to have some funding provided by, I don't know if the government will have any at that time, or through the township. I know that they're putting money away into coffers for it. So everything's kind of up in the air still too.
Yeah.
I don't know if that helps you at all.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
we
I
can.
think we know all our numbers. We'll have better sense if we do need to approach, and on what basis.
Yeah, well, my thinking is that if we can do it all now when we have nobody in there, that we're
Yeah.
not interfering with rentals
Income.
later on,
Yeah.
we're ahead of the game.
100%.
I hadn't thought of this before, but one thing, I know during the pandemic, there's lots of organizations that are struggling with churches and things like that. Like we could put a call out and for donations for renovations, because it's obvious the halls are not prospering. And I'm just wondering if members of the public may support doing some work, and we If it's worth
Again,
it,
I would probably save that step for
For the
when
big
we're
one.
trying to do the big renovation on the front.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a good point. I think that's, because that'll rack up like crazy, the cost of that.
And I think the people that we'd be trying to hit for donations are the people that would receive that one the most if we're creating accessibility to the hall for another generation. That
No, you're right. Good idea. Okay,
all right.
Should we be checking?
There is some government grants and stuff like that around too. I know some cemeteries and stuff up in Gray County and stuff, we're getting funding from the government and from the township and stuff for different things. Just that there is some money around there too. So I don't know if anybody has time to look at any available grants. That's not something I have time to even think about. So
definitely not. Mhm.
all right, Gord, you can do your ending now. I'm done talking.
Perfect. Anybody else have anything to add before we sign off? We're all good. Well, it's great to see all of you. Hopefully we can get together sooner than later as this pandemic starts to hopefully crest and take a turn.
Mhm.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. And on that note, once again, a Merry Christmas to you and all your families, and a Happy New Year. Hopefully it will be the happier New Year. And yeah, if anything comes up
Same to you all.
between now and then,
Same to you.
between now and the next meeting, anything comes up, we'll be reaching out. Until then, next meeting is set for January 19th, 2021 at 7 p.m. And will be resolved, the Duntroon Hall Board be adjourned at 8:03.
Woohoo!
Almost got under an hour, not quite. Dave kept just yabbering on.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gordon.